Welcome. Welcome to Vanadium. I'm Chris Rankin. The more I learn about this mad world, the more mysterious it seems. So what is a hero, and why are they so important to us? A hero is defined in the dictionary as a person who is admired or idealized for courage, outstanding achievements, or noble qualities. When you consider the actual definition of hero, most of the current celebrities, the modern-day heroes of society, just don't measure up. Most of today's celebrity heroes are actually unimpressive human beings. They're handed careers for arbitrary reasons like family connections or being born looking a certain way. Really, the most self-promoting, wicked, and shameless people are the ones we're supposed to hold up to admire and emulate. I was very fortunate to have a number of heroes in my life. People who taught me that the way you live morally is actually what defines you as an individual. One of these heroes was actually a fictional one. MacGyver showed the TV audience you can be smart and decent, and you can be cool. You can be nice, and you can be tough. Just for reference, for the entirety of this episode, when I'm discussing MacGyver, I'm talking about the 1980s MacGyver. I'm talking about Richard Dean Anderson. I won't shit on the 2016 version because I've only been able to get through the first 90 seconds or so. For me, Richard Dean Anderson's Angus MacGyver defined cool. Everyone knows the Swiss Army knife, but for me, it went beyond the gadgets, the jackets, the Jeep, the hockey skills. It was the MacGyver way of being. What a one-of-a-kind television protagonist. Don't get me wrong, the A-Team was tremendous, and Magnum P.I. is the man. But there was one 80s hero who brought together some of the highest noble qualities of intellect: thoughtfulness, creativity, resourcefulness, spontaneity, empathy. There is only one MacGyver. Before every piece of media was immediately downloadable at your fingertips, before the days of every show being available on DVD, I would have paid top dollar for MacGyver episodes. In the 90s, I went for years being totally unable to watch even reruns of my favorite show. For years, I couldn't visit my fictional hero. I went for years missing the only person on TV interested in science who wasn't evil or a dork. So who is MacGyver? And why does a fictional character have a place on the Vanadium Wall of Heroes? Angus MacGyver is the title character and protagonist of the series, played by, of course, the one and only Richard Dean Anderson. Mac is shown to possess a genius-level intellect, proficiency in multiple languages including Russian, German, French, Italian, Spanish, and American Sign Language. He also knows how to use the International Maritime Signal Flag System and Morse code. MacGyver went to Western Tech, a fictionalized stand-in for Caltech, where he graduated with a dual degree in chemistry and physics. Well done, Mac. He displays superb engineering skills and excellent knowledge of applied physics. He's a seasoned outdoorsman with advanced training and survival skills. Despite a serious fear of heights, he is skilled at mountain and rock climbing, hang gliding, and parachuting. He somehow possesses military training in bomb disposal techniques. His other hobbies include ice hockey and racing, with an artistic side and an interest in painting and guitar. Through the series, he is shown to be capable of being afraid, depressed, angry, and frustrated. MacGyver is not a stoic action figure. He can throw hands, defuse mercury switches on bombs, mentor troubled youth, fight oil fires, and fix literally anything. MacGyver detests firearms and always shows a preference for non-lethal conflict resolution. He works for the fictional Phoenix Foundation in Los Angeles, described in the show as an independent think tank. At the age of 7, his grandmother and father, James MacGyver, were killed in a car accident, so MacGyver grew up with his mother and his grandfather. When he was about 12, MacGyver had a traumatic experience with the accidental shooting of a friend. This is where he developed his revulsion to guns. In the pilot episode, Mac is called in to rescue a group of scientists trapped in an underground New Mexico laboratory after a major explosion. The explosion causes a sulfuric acid leak that puts MacGyver in a rush with time before the acid leaks into the aquifer. It turns out that this explosion was not an accident. It was actually planned by one of the trapped scientists to prevent his ozone research from getting turned into some ghastly doomsday weapon. This episode's MacGyverisms include using chocolate bars to plug the sulfuric acid leak. The sugar caramelizes and forms a sticky paste when it reacts with the acid. And of course, making a sodium and water bomb using a cold capsule to blow a hole right through a wall. As a side note, Dana Elcar appears in this episode as a guest star, playing Andy Coulson. Elcar later assumes the role of MacGyver's best friend and boss, Pete Thornton. In February 2008, the popular science show Mythbusters featured a MacGyver special, which tested many of MacGyver's tricks and tactics. The first test examined MacGyver's famous cold capsule sodium and water bomb. The MacGyver episode suggests dropping about 1 gram of sodium metal into water will cause an explosive reaction powerful enough to blow a hole through a cinder block wall. However, despite using 100 grams of sodium metal, the Mythbusters showed their wall remained completely intact. Another episode in the Murderer's Row, Countdown. MacGyver teams up with an old buddy from Nam to defuse a time bomb aboard a cruise ship loaded with passengers. And, if that wasn't enough, he also has to unmask and apprehend the mad bomber himself, Viking, before he escapes. "It's a vacuum, Mac!" That's a classic line. This is the quintessential MacGyver episode. Bombs, chemicals, improvised tools. MacGyver's go-to item is his Swiss Army knife. He usually carries a roll of duct tape in his back pocket, flattened out to make it fit. It would be pretty uncomfortable to sit on otherwise, I imagine. While never being in a long-term, on-screen romance, he has relationships with several women in individual episodes, and several previous relationships are hinted at in flashbacks. In the episode Flame's End, we learn some more about MacGyver's backstory. His old girlfriend Amy reaches out after many years. We learn our hero once had a true love that he walked away from to pursue his MacGyver-esque adventures. Through flashbacks, we learn when they were both graduating that she wanted him to use his science degree to land a cushy job at a nuclear processing facility, but he had grander ideas of romantic adventures in mind. MacGyver is a rolling stone. Before Mac and Amy get a chance to reconcile, she's blown up by a car bomb right in front of him. The good news is, she actually isn't dead. It was a mix-up. The lady that blew up in the car wasn't her, and MacGyver still gets in action. Freddy Krueger, Robert Englund, plays Mac's old friend with a dark secret. This episode features some saxophone music and matters of the heart, but we still get the MacGyver goods. For example, speeding up time to beat a time clock to avoid being burned up by hot nuclear reactor waste. In another love-centric episode, The Negotiator, MacGyver finds himself head over heels, but in a very abusive relationship, with a hit woman contracted to kill him. It all starts when Mac tries to protect the environment from a greedy real estate developer. This creep sends the hit woman, and of course, she's just his type. MacGyver can't catch a break in the love department. He's a lifelong ice hockey player, having competed in his local hockey leagues, even coaching a minor league team. He is also a fan of the Calgary Flames, and by all fictional accounts, he could have made it all the way to the NHL if he hadn't been studying science and saving the world. This next episode made me want to work for the Phoenix Foundation. The human factor. This is the job I always wanted. MacGyver is the acid test of a super advanced military security system. They hire him to try to beat their new super advanced burglar alarm. If MacGyver can't break in, nobody can. The US doesn't take chances with national security. Pressure-sensitive floors, palm-reading panels, Hal, Sandy, a computer with an 8-bit Siri voice controlling everything, going sentient and immediately homicidal. There's even evil R2-D2 style robot drones with heat-seeking lasers. At one point in the episode, a military guy asked Pete Thornton, "What makes MacGyver so special? He doesn't even have any gear." Thornton responds, "That's what makes him so special." This next episode is one of my favorites about the dangers of working on the weekends. Phoenix Under Siege. MacGyver and his grandfather Harry stop by the Foundation on their way to a hockey game to pick up the tickets. The trouble is, terrorists are already there, setting a bomb, and trap MacGyver and Harry in the building. At the end, spoiler alert, MacGyver uses the hockey tickets to defuse the bomb, and therefore they miss the game. The MacGyver character demonstrates consistent mood congruence, meaning he exhibits sadness and tragedy, fear and danger, and pain and suffering. This stands in contrast to ultra-macho or stoic action figures. MacGyver is depicted as introspective, and he is known to take responsibility for his personal losses and his tragedies. He experiences guilt when duty prevents him from attending his mom's funeral. He experiences severe depression when his best friend suffers a fatal climbing accident. In my favorite episode of the series, Hell Week, Mac, our hero, is picked to judge a physics contest at his alma mater. But an upset student who is the son of Mac's old professor takes some speed pills, downs a bottle of whiskey, and still manages to build a bomb, which of course, Mac must defuse. David, of the great old show The Edison Twins, builds a fairly impressive looking bomb. Mercury switches. As a kid, these things fascinated me. Freeze the mercury or boil it. It just makes sense. When it comes to bad guys, MacGyver delivers a few memorable antagonists, but there is one that really stands out. Murdoch, played by Michael Desparis. A hero is truly made by his villain. Over the course of 80 episodes or so, MacGyver probably kills Murdoch 30 times. Murdoch survives being blown up, burned by an exploding flamethrower, a fall down an elevator shaft, a fall down a mountain. Murdoch just keeps coming. He always takes a few episodes off, but always finds his way back to hunting MacGyver. This guy is like the Terminator, with one mission in life. The final season had some goofy episodes. Too many diversions away from the core ideas of the show. The King Arthur episodes, Goodnight MacGyver, are a bit wonky. MacGyver started the careers of Blossom, Cuba Show Me the Money Gooding Jr., Tia Carrere, Terry Hatcher, and Jason Priestley. In the second to last episode of the show, it is revealed that MacGyver has a son, Sam Angus Malloy. In the series finale, after discovering and reuniting with Sam, MacGyver decides to resign from the Phoenix Foundation in order to spend time with his son. MacGyver makes for an interesting comparison with the brilliant anti-hero from Breaking Bad, Walter White. They're both scientists, both highly intelligent, creative, and resourceful, but I didn't think two worldviews could differ so much. MacGyver is good-natured down to his bone marrow, while Walter White was born already in a descent to evil. Both are fascinating characters. I love both protagonists and shows for different reasons. Heroes, even fictional versions like MacGyver, are critical to our understanding of the world, each other, and ourselves. Thank you very much. This was Chris Rankin with Vanadium.